I'm sure you remember this photo. It was a major meme. But at one point in time, Shawn Oakman was living up to the reputation of that picture.
He can't get away. The big arm of the big man. Shawn Oakman brings him down.
Along with Oakman, you should remember this monstrosity of a man who took the internet by storm as well.
In the middle of the field for a touchdown, the big guy. How about Javon?
It was surprising to see just one of these guys on the field, let alone both of them on the same team. But somehow, as fast as these guys rose up to fame, their careers in football seemingly vanished. So I know you like free stuff. How about a Nike gift card? Swag Bucks. You can earn rewards by simply taking surveys, watching videos, shopping online, and even playing games. I've checked it out myself and I think it's great. Click the link in the description and start earning rewards now. And lastly, I gotta give a big thank you to Swag Bucks for sponsoring this video. In 2011, at Penwood High School in Pennsylvania, Shawn Oakman had just committed to his dream college, Penn State. He had a pretty rough childhood. His mother battled a cocaine addiction and spent quite a bit of time in prison, often leaving young Shawn to live in a homeless shelter. But now, he had his chance. A chance to be the hometown hero. And after he committed, one of Penn State's coaches was so excited that he pulled his car to the side of the highway and began to scream. Now, let's go all the way down to Texas, where the size and stature of Laquan McGowan had reached legendary status. Also dealing with a difficult childhood, a young McGowan was helped out by the local boys ranch, where he developed into an all-around beast. He was a star basketball player, a state champion in the shot put, and he was even a first-team all-district kicker. Mostly playing offensive and defensive line, he eventually committed to his hometown school, Baylor. He said he wanted to stay close to family, and also that Baylor was a, quote, Christian school. Penn State, 2012. During some of the darker days surrounding the school, the scandal involving Jerry Sandusky was breaking news just months prior. And after the firing of longtime coach Joe Paterno, new head coach Bill O'Brien brought in a very strict zero-tolerance policy. And not long after this, Shawn Oakman was kicked off the team after stealing a sandwich. He was forced to transfer, and there was one school that was willing to give him a chance. That was Baylor. Now, these two massive individuals were officially teammates. But still, it would take more than 2 years before the college football world would even know who these two were. Oakman had to sit out in 2012 due to the rules of transferring, and then was mostly a backup the following season. But that's when 2014 happened. And then for McGowan, he really hadn't played that much in his career up to that point. And normally number 60, he was mostly used as an interior blocker on field goal attempts. But one specific game on the first day of 2015 would change the lives of these two forever.
During the Cotton Bowl, you actually became an internet sensation. A meme went viral of you looking pretty intimidating. What did you think about that picture?
It was a great picture. Shout out to Cowboy Stadium and their big old TV.
Not just throwing fade routes downfield. Oh, wide open in the middle of the field for a touchdown, the big guy.
And it didn't take long for every news article and sports headline to be talking about these two, ranging from how tall they were combined to random pets that Shawn Oakman had. The media couldn't get enough. And by the summer of 2015, these two were literally and figuratively larger than life. McGowan was being talked about as the ultimate X factor for the offense. His coach, Art Briles, was hyping him up to be revolutionary. Articles were coming out talking about how terrifying he was going to be, talks about how he was going to project as a tight end to the NFL. And the dude had only made one catch. One earth-shattering catch. And for Shawn Oakman, the meme had taken over. After just 1 year of production, he was projected by some as the #1 overall pick. Just read what the first thing says. Not only did it seem like these two were off to bigger and better things in the world of football, but Baylor was starting the season in the top 5. and they were a major talking point. To start the season, Baylor lived up to the hype. With 2 living memes being ranked number 2, they would start 8-0. This would be the high point for Baylor football, as things would take a devastating turn. They would lose 3 of their next 4 games, but that was the least of their problems.
The sex assault scandal at Baylor University is more widespread than first reported. 60 Minutes Sports has now learned that since 2011, 19 football players have been accused of abuse against 17 women.
For the second time in his college career, Shawn Oakman is attending a university in the middle of a massive scandal, but this time, he's a part of it. After a disappointing season on the field, where his draft stock dropped to a late-round pick, things had gotten much worse. No team in the NFL dared messing with him. And for McGowan, he would have a couple more touchdowns, but his chances in the NFL were gone. He sparked a little bit of hype during his pro day. After being featured on a series called Undrafted, many people were rooting for him to make it to the league. There were even reports about some teams being interested, but nothing came to fruition. He apparently did sign to play in the Canadian Football League with the Montreal Alouettes, but after not passing a medical test, he was no longer on the team. And after I checked the current roster, he's nowhere to be found. Since then, there hasn't been much news on these 2 guys, and everything seems to have fizzled out just barely a year after the fame. But one thing about McGowan that's pretty interesting, he said that after he was done with football, he wanted to become a wrestler for the WWE. Yeah, imagine this dude throwing a flying elbow.